back to This Is Not Advice. I'm Roy Bahat, and I'm joined by Min, who, among other things, is my co-host here. And together with the rest of our firm, we are startup investors in the future of work.
And every day we answer your questions about work. Today is day 102. And instead of advice, we're going to break down, questions about focus. So today we are answering your question we've heard from early stage founders. If I have two revenue streams, do I really need to kill one?
Yes, you really do. And founders oftentimes have internalized so much of do unscalable things, or the customer is always right. The very idea that they should turn down revenue is they wouldn't even think about it. What do you mean? This person wants to buy our shit. Shouldn't we sell them our shit? And the answer, to some degree, always depends on your goals. But if your goal is to make something that can grow really big, then simplicity is the fuel for scale. And it's very hard to find companies. In fact, I'd challenge anybody to find a wildly successful company that in the very beginning had two revenue streams and maintain them throughout. What can happen is, you add revenue streams when you monetize later. So LinkedIn has several revenue streams, but they came later. What can happen is you bake a couple off against each other. What can happen is that they're in fact one business model, but you charge both a license for your software and professional services to set it up. So I guess I'd say more accurately is one business model, but what you don't want are options. Well, some of our customers pay us this way, and some of us pay us with SaaS, and other ones pay us by the hour as consultants. That kind of complexity kills. Now, if you were solving for something else, which is you were solving for how much revenue can I make as quickly as possible, then great. And there's almost always a phase where early founders are selling two things at once. The question is, do you wish to get out of it? And if so, why? And usually, if you want to grow something really big, you must get out.
Yeah, and I think what you're highlighting is not all revenue is created equal, right? And there is an element of, is this a representative kind of revenue stream that you would like, in the same way that yesterday we were talking about customer segments, and if you have two, do you really need to pick one? And it's and I think another thing to highlight is none of the choices are one-way doors. And that's what we want to highlight about the focus element, which is to say that the important thing is to do one thing well, for now. And then
one
you
thing
can always
give it time.
Right.
Yes. And Min, I think what I heard you saying there, sorry, were you still?
No, go ahead.
What I heard you saying there is beginning to answer the question of, if I have two, okay, that's great. You're telling me to pick. Which one should I pick? And the answer there is that it is not always the biggest one. It is not even always the one with the most potential, but it is always the one that if you pick it will result in the most valuable business for you in the long term. And that could mean one of those things enables the other to be easier later. It could be that one is, as you said, higher quality revenue, so more profitable revenue, recurring revenue, or revenue that pulls you. Sometimes you have a thing of I could charge my users, or I could charge somebody else, an advertiser, a vendor, and one of those will pull you in the direction of the kind of business you want to create. It creates a source of gravity. So yeah, that's a delicious question, which maybe we'll file for another day.
Not advice given. So remember, we call this Is Not Advice because the people who give you advice are trying to tell you how to live their life, not in their business, and things that they wish they had done. And we want you to feel empowered to make your own decisions. And so if you have other questions you want us to answer, reply to us here.
And again, Roy and Min here from Bloomberg Beta. We will be back tomorrow, continuing to talk about questions around focus all week. To be continued.
To be continued.